Have you ever imagined one day logging into your bank account and discovering that your Social Security payment didn't come in like it does every month? Not delayed. Not a technical glitch. But gone. No longer the small but life-saving amount for tens of millions of Americans living dollar to dollar. If you think that's impossible, think again. Because right now, the latest financial reports show that the Social Security Trust Fund is running out faster than expected. And without any corrective measures by the end of 2025, America could be facing an unprecedented crisis. So what would happen if Social Security actually disappeared? Join me as we dive deep into that scenario, a world where everything familiar could crumble overnight. But consider this a wake-up call, not a reason to lose hope. The Social Security Trust Fund, the backbone of America. There's some things you don't truly understand the value of until you have to rely on them. Social Security isn't a bonus. It's society's recognition of the years you've spent working, paying taxes, raising children, and keeping America running. It's the promise this nation made to you that when you grow old, or if illness or disability strikes, there will be a safety net so you won't be left behind. And the scariest part is that safety net is unraveling. Right now, over 73 million Americans receive benefits from the Social Security program. Not just retirees, but also the disabled, orphaned children, widows, veterans, and even workers who spent a lifetime barely making ends meet. Every month, these individuals survive on an average of $400 to $1,800. That's not a bonus. That's money for blood pressure medication, gas to get to a doctor's appointment, the electric bill in a freezing Midwest winter, or diapers for a grandchild when their parents are out of work. It's the last few dollars that allow them to keep their dignity in an increasingly unforgiving society. Social Security is the only safety net that many Americans have left. Not everyone has a pension. Not everyone owns a home. Not everyone can keep working until they're 70. For a large part of the population, especially in rural areas, Rust Belt states, communities of color, and immigrant communities, Social Security is the only thing standing between them and complete collapse. Maybe you're not receiving benefits right now, but your parents are, your grandparents are, and you, if nothing changes, will likely depend on it too in a few years. Because this isn't just a policy. This is the backbone of America, the invisible support system that millions have counted on to keep from falling. And if that backbone breaks, America doesn't just lose a welfare program, it loses a part of its humanity in how we treat each other. The risk of depletion, a disturbing reality. Nothing strikes fear quite like instability in something once thought to be permanent. Social Security was once seen as one of the most stable pillars of modern America, a silent promise from the nation to its people. Keep working, keep contributing, and when you can't work anymore, the country will support you. But as 2025 arrives, the cracks are becoming more visible than ever. According to the latest report from the Congressional Budget Office, the Social Security Fund will begin facing severe deficits starting this year. And without timely intervention, it is projected to run out completely by 2033, sooner than any previous estimates. But what's more terrifying than the numbers is how it's happening quietly, day by day, hour by hour, while those who depend on it continue to live, wait, and trust. Many people think if it runs out, the government will just print more money, but the reality is not that simple. Social Security is not a bank account full of cash. It operates on a pay-as-you-go model. Workers today pay taxes into the fund to provide benefits for those receiving payments today. The problem is fewer people are paying in while more are drawing out. America is aging rapidly. Nearly 10,000 people turn 65 every day. Meanwhile, low birth rates, rising unemployment after the pandemic, and workers leaving the job market early due to health and financial reasons have caused FICA tax revenue, the main funding source for Social Security, to plummet. And now the shortfall is being covered by the reserves, a reserve that is only enough to last until the end of this decade. After that, without reform, the fund will only be able to pay about 77 to 79% of current benefits. That means if you're receiving $1 $600 a month next year, you might only get $1 $250. A decrease that might seem small, but for seniors living off every dollar, it's the difference between medication and a meal between a rented room and the street. Numerous solutions have been proposed. Raising the retirement age, increasing the Social Security tax cap, cutting benefits for higher income individuals. But the problem is, Congress can't agree. Year after year, the debates drag on while time does not wait. And who suffers first? Not the politicians, but ordinary citizens. Grandparents in Ohio, relying on their only support to pay for insulin each month. Retired factory workers in Michigan with no company, pension counting on the national fund. Veterans, the disabled single mothers who once paid their taxes, contributed to society, now wondering if they will have enough to survive next month. This is no longer just about finances. It's about trust a nation keeping its promise or not. A safety net you believed in your whole life disappearing because of numbers on a spreadsheet. The truth is, fear is growing, especially among older Americans. A March 2025 survey by Gallup revealed that nearly 82% of Americans over 55 feel extremely worried about the future of Social Security, and they have every reason to be, because if you've spent your whole life in a system believing you would be cared for in old age only to wake up one day and find that system out of money, that's not just an economic shock, it is the collapse of the most basic trust in the society you helped build. In American history, we have never been this close to the edge of a total retirement crisis, and if 2025 doesn't bring timely action, the following years may be too late. The question now is not will it happen, but rather who will be left behind when the fund runs dry and trust is drained alongside it. Consequences if the fund runs dry by the end of 2025. Imagine this. One morning in late 2025, you wake up early following your usual routine and open your phone to check your bank account. Every month on that exact day, you receive a familiar notification. Social Security benefits have been deposited. But this time, nothing appears. It's not delayed, it's not a system error, there is simply nothing left to transfer. And suddenly you, a person who worked for over 40 years, paid taxes faithfully, never missed a single deadline, find yourself asking, how will I pay rent next week? For millions of Americans who live on that benefit, this is not just a fictional story, it is a nightmare that could actually happen. According to current estimates, if the Social Security fund runs out without timely intervention, beneficiaries will only receive about 77% of the promised amount. This means if you were receiving $500 per month, you would now get just around $150. A shortfall of $350 may not seem like much, but it's enough to throw an elderly person's entire life off track, and that shock won't arrive alone. It will come like an undercurrent, silent, slow, but tearing apart pieces of society. Seniors from security to instability. Most American seniors do not have private retirement funds. They are no longer able to work, and after decades of struggling with housing costs, healthcare, and rising living expenses, they have no substantial savings. Social Security is their last lifeline, losing 20-25% of their monthly benefit. It means choosing between buying diabetes medication and paying the electricity bill. It means no protein for dinner. It means the old car they used to visit the doctor won't get a full tank of gas. It means they might be evicted from the apartment they've rented for 8 years. People with disabilities. From fragile to desperate. For people with disabilities, Social Security is not just a source of income, it is their only source of income. They cannot work overtime, they cannot switch careers, they cannot freelance to make up the difference. When benefits are reduced, they don't just lose money, they lose their independence. Medical expenses, wheelchairs, specialized medications, daily living support all have a price. And if that price cannot be paid, they will be left dependent, impoverished, and pushed to the margins of society. Working families. An unexpected burden. Many middle-aged families already juggling children's education, car insurance, and mortgage payments now must care in reverse for their parents when the money that once helped seniors live independently suddenly disappears. Imagine a couple in their 40s in Kentucky with a combined income of $60,000 a year, having to bring an elderly mother home because she can no longer afford rent or medication, meals, utility bills. Healthcare all rise while their income stays the same. What will they have to sacrifice? Time with their children, rest, or their own mental health, the economy, a spreading storm. People often forget Social Security. Money doesn't just sit in beneficiaries' wallets. They spend it, and when they spend, they keep the local economy alive. From a pharmacy in Idaho, a bakery in Ohio, to a gas station in Texas, when millions of seniors cut back on spending, small businesses suffer. A study by AARP once showed that every $1 of Social Security benefits generates over $2 in economic activity. Cutting payments means cutting purchasing power. Cutting purchasing power means cutting jobs. Cutting jobs means more people needing benefits while the fund is running out. Efforts to save Social Security. When the worst seems imminent. Throughout American history, there have been moments when decisions were no longer about politics, they were about survival. The looming prospect of Social Security running dry by the end of 2025 is one of those moments. No one wants this to happen. No leader at any level wants to face the eyes of millions of seniors. people with disabilities or working families, and have to admit, we can no longer keep our promise. So despite differing opinions, one thing is clear: across all levels of government action is necessary, and it must happen now. Measure 1, gradually increasing the retirement age with flexibility. One of the most deeply studied solutions is adjusting the retirement age. Not by forcing everyone to work until 70, but by creating a flexible retirement system, allowing people to choose between early retirement with lower benefits or working longer to receive full or even enhanced benefits. This is not a new idea. Many developed countries have successfully adopted similar models. In the United States, it could help reduce the financial pressure on the system without taking away people's freedom to choose. Measure 2, raising the tax cap for high earners. Currently, the maximum taxable income for Social Security is around $168,600 per year as of 2025. This means if you earn above that amount, the excess is not taxed for the fund. One viable reform is to increase this cap or remove it entirely, ensuring that high-income earners contribute more fairly to the system. According to estimates from the Congressional Budget Office, simply adjusting the income cap could extend the fund's solvency by 10 to 15 years without cutting any current benefits. Measure 3, optimizing investment and fund management. Social Security is not just a locked vault of money. Most of the fund is invested in federal treasury bonds, which offer stable but low returns. In the future, one proposed solution is to diversify investments through safer financial channels with higher returns. This requires strict oversight and high transparency, but if done correctly, it could help the fund grow without increasing taxes. Additionally, cutting unnecessary operating costs, streamlining management, and using technology to detect fraud and abuse are measures being aggressively implemented. Measure 4, emergency funding if depletion occurs. In a worst-case scenario, the federal government can choose to allocate money from emergency funds or issue special bonds to cover Social Security's temporary shortfall. While this is not a long-term solution, if a crisis does strike at the end of 2025, maintaining an uninterrupted flow of payments is crucial. Temporarily injecting rescue funds similar to how it was done during the pandemic would provide reassurance to the public and maintain social stability. Measure 5, transparent communication, so no one is left behind. One of the greatest fears people have is not just a lack of money, but a lack of information. If the system faces a crisis, the government must clearly announce an adjustment plan, make the preparation steps transparent, and commit to protecting the most vulnerable groups, such as low-income seniors, people with disabilities, and families with young children. Effective communication will help citizens mentally prepare, adjust their spending, and develop suitable personal plans instead of living in constant fear of the unknown, turning hope into reality. No one left behind. Finally, any measures introduced are only part of the larger solution. No plan can succeed without public support, community initiative, social consensus, and government transparency. These are the true keys to saving a system on the brink of collapse. America has overcome many crises, Great Depressions, wars, even a global pandemic. Each time we have proven that with unity and determination, nothing is impossible. This time will be no different. Social Security is a symbol of shared support, and perhaps now when it is in danger is also the time for America to remember we leave no one behind. Psychological and social impacts for millions of Americans, especially the elderly and disabled Social Security, is not just a paycheck, it is a symbol of security, a promise that after a lifetime of hard work, they will be taken care of. Widespread anxiety. A recent AP NORC survey revealed that nearly 30% of Americans aged 60 and older now doubt their ability to continue receiving Social Security benefits, up from 20% in 2023. Notably, trust among Democrats has plummeted with skepticism, rising from 10% in 2023 to nearly 50% today. This anxiety is not just about money, it is about stability, about trust in a system that has existed for decades. Financial uncertainty can lead to stress, anxiety, and depression. Many seniors already facing health issues now bear an additional mental burden, wondering if they can afford medications, food, and basic living expenses. At a nursing home in Long Island, residents expressed deep concerns about the current state of the economy and changes at the Social Security Administration. Although their benefits have not yet been disrupted, they fear what the future may hold. When seniors can no longer afford to live independently, the burden shifts to their children and the community. Families may have to bring elderly parents into their homes, leading to strained relationships and financial pressure. Local charities and social service organizations will also face higher demand even as their resources remain limited. A crisis of trust. Social Security is one of the most popular programs in America, supported by the majority of citizens regardless of party affiliation. When this system falters, it does not just affect personal finances. It erodes trust in the government and public institutions. This loss of trust can lead to cynicism, apathy, and reduced participation in democratic activities, from voting to community involvement. The depletion of the Social Security Fund is not just a financial problem, it is a crisis of trust and social security. Collective responsibility. Solving this issue requires cooperation between the government, communities, and individuals. We must ensure that those who have contributed to society their entire lives are not abandoned when they need help the most. Solutions and hope. In the darkest of times, America has always found light through the resilience and unity of its people. The looming prospect of the Social Security Fund running dry by the end of 2025 has sounded an alarm, but it also presents an opportunity to reflect reform and build a more sustainable system for the future, enhancing revenue. Fairer contributions. One proposed solution is to adjust the Social Security taxable income cap. Currently, this cap stands at around $176,100 per year. Raising or eliminating this cap would ensure that higher income earners contribute more, increasing the fund's revenue without affecting low-income workers. Diversifying investments. Maximizing returns. At present, the Social Security Fund is primarily invested in government bonds, which offer low returns. By diversifying the investment portfolio to include other safe but higher-yielding options, the fund can achieve sustainable growth without raising taxes or cutting benefits. Administrative reforms, boosting efficiency, reducing waste. Modernizing the information technology systems, simplifying processes, and strengthening oversight will help minimize fraud, cut waste, and enhance the operational efficiency of the Social Security Administration. This will not only save costs, but also improve the quality of services for citizens. Dialogue and consensus. The key to success. Implementing these reforms requires consensus and cooperation among all stakeholders, including the government, Congress. Social organizations and the public hosting forums, workshops, and public surveys can help gather diverse opinions and shape effective, well-supported policies. Hope through concrete actions. While challenges remain, the first steps have already been taken. The passage of the Social Security Fairness Act in early 2025 increased benefits for millions, especially those previously affected by outdated regulations. This proves that with determination and concrete actions, positive change is possible. For many Americans, Social Security is not just a support program. It is the foundation that gives them peace of mind in old age, a lifeline amid economic turmoil, and a guarantee that after a lifetime of hard work, they will still be respected and protected. While challenges lie ahead, the most important thing is this. The conversation must begin in a serious, responsible, and constructive manner, not to cause anxiety, but to help everyone better understand and prepare. This video is made for the purpose of analyzing public information from official agencies, research, and current factual data. It does not aim to promote any political agenda or claim that a negative scenario is certain to occur. If you find this topic important, share your thoughts in the comments section. What do you expect from the future of the Social Security system? What do you think is the most sustainable solution? And don't forget to hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss our upcoming content where we continue to analyze important issues with a close, realistic, and respectful perspective on all opinions. For a sustainable society, it all begins with understanding and dialogue.